Hi. One of the questions that comes up a lot, and I've seen these searches, is the question, what is a lobbyist? So I wanted to answer that in a just very brief way and in a very simple way, using definitions that are normally used. I'm actually going to quote from the a website here, dcabout.com, and it says that a lobbyist is an activist who seeks to persuade members of the government, like members of Congress, to enact legislation that would benefit their group. The lobbying professional is a legitimate and integral part of our democratic political process that is not very well understood by the general population. I would say that's generally true, and that's why I want to give you a fair assessment of what it is, because you hear on television now so much bashing about we got to get rid of the lobbyists, but in reality, do you really want to get rid of people who are presenting ideas to lawmakers? And the answer probably is not. So the other definition that is from Wikipedia is lobbying is a form of advocacy with the intention of influencing decisions made by the government, by individuals, or more usually by lobby groups. It includes all attempts to influence legislators and officials, whether by other legislators, constituents, or organized groups. And some of the words may not be familiar to you, lobbyist, advocacy, grassroots lobbying, that whole kind of constellation of things. But in essence, you're trying to convince someone to do something. And what you're trying to do is you are trying to convince a lawmaker to adopt your point of view, which I see as a solution to a problem that you're familiar with. And essentially, you're appealing to a higher authority. These are your elected leaders, after all. So you're appealing to them before a bill becomes a law, generally speaking. There's lots of complications here. But generally, you're appealing to them before a bill becomes a law, rather than trying to settle something in the court system well after the fact, when you discover that you may have run afoul of the law, or the law doesn't apply to you, or there's some other weird contingent relationship. But so people often ignore the law, or it's so complex they don't know what it is and they don't get good advice, and then they find themselves in court spending a lot of money to defend a position or to rectify something that could have been resolved had they been involved early on. Now, our position at iLobby is we are not a lobbying firm. We are not talking to elected officials. We are not trying to persuade them to do something. What we are trying to do is connect you, the small business person, entrepreneur, the average voter. What we're trying to do is help you clarify the issues that are important to you, come together with other people, raise money if you can, and then we will work with or introduce you to lobbying firms whose practice area is consistent with the kind of things that you want to get done, so that you can basically delegate the work to them. You'll still be involved. We're not involved. We just offer the platform to allow you to connect with other constituents around the country, to find people who are like-minded, who agree with you, or perhaps even disagree, through a debate format. And then you can then go, if you raise sufficient capital, to hire them. It would be no different than saying, I want to hire a real estate attorney to conduct a transaction. Well, you bear the full cost of that. You know what you want to get done. You hire them, you work with them, you check references, you do all of that. Same thing here. A little bit of the difference is that the lobbyist is basically going to act on your behalf. You're the client, okay? And they are then going to find the right legislators and lawmakers whose issue is consistent with yours, and they will appeal to them to see about doing something. Now, the reason this is not familiar to you is because for many of us, unless you are at the very top in the government affairs sector or at the top of your company or trade association, you just didn't encounter this. So it is out there. It's there every day. There's, by the way, there's around 10,000 lobbyists in Washington, D.C. alone, and they're in all the state capitals. So it isn't as though it's a rare bird that you will never find. They exist, they're around. They tend not to market that much, but we think that they offer a valuable service that will make your life easier and get you into the game. That's pretty much it. So hopefully I've answered the question to what is a lobbyist, and that makes it a little more clear for you. My name is John Thibault. I'm the founder and CEO of iLobby and the author of the book, How to Change a Law.
Want to know more? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit ilobby.mykajabi.com for more information.